Hello students, and welcome to the next lecture of our Scratch 3 video lecture course. And in today's video, we're going to create a chase game. So, what will be the basic gameplay in this project? We're going to have two characters. So we're going to control our Mr. Cat. Let us change his name right away. So Mr. Cat. And we're going to have another character that's going to be controlled by a couple of scripts. So our purpose in this game is going to be like running from the enemy character as long as we can. And as soon as our enemy character catches us, we're going to get something like a finish screen, and our score is going to be shown at the end. Okay, so our score is going to be calculated depending on how long we survived from the enemy character. So what we do first? First, we of course name our project. So in my case, it's already named. In your case, probably not. So your first step is going to be rename your project. Okay. The next step we can either add a backdrop or a character. So it doesn't really matter. So for this project, we can actually choose a lot of different backdrops, but let me just choose probably this one, something like jungle. Fits very good, I think. Okay, and now let me add my enemy character. So my enemy character is going to be, let it be Bat, because Bat has really like good costumes for this project. It has like 3 flying animations and 1 like sleeping animation. Okay, so first of all, what we do. So we do not actually need this sleeping animation for the gameplay. Maybe we would need this for another purpose, but this will be discussed a little bit later. So we just, for now, we just have to delete this costume because we actually do not need it. Okay, so what's going to be our next step? So let us make, first of all, something with our cat. Actually, in this project, I find our cat a little bit big. So when the flag is clicked, so we're going to start our game with the flag. Let me just reduce the Mr. Cat size, I'd say to 70 or something like that would do, I think. Maybe a little bit less. It should be maybe something like 50. Yeah, 50 feels pretty good. Okay, what can we do next? Next, of course, we have to do some kind of movement to the cat and to the bat. But let's start with the cat. How we usually do our movement. So when some key is pressed, we're going to point in some directions we studied in one of the previous videos. If you do not remember directions, please rewatch them. And here we're already going to use this point in direction block because we already actually know it. Okay, so here let us make it right arrow because we're pointing in direction 90. Now, what can we do? Actually, there is a very handy function in our Scratch 3. So we do not have to recreate these blocks to change the parameters. Okay, so we can just press the right mouse button and duplicate the whole script. So we can do like this. This is a very good and very useful function because sometimes we would need something like main character control, and here we can pretty easily recreate the same blocks, but all we have to do now is change the parameters. So if it's left arrow, I'm going to change the direction to -90. If it is up arrow, I'm going to point in direction 0. If it is bottom arrow, down arrow, so I'm going to set the direction to 180. So now what can I do is I can test my control. So okay, my cat started moving, but there's two problems. Actually, there is two problems. First is that my cat does not move its legs, but it can though. So what we do, we go to the looks category and add next costume block to every movement block, so that wherever we move, our costumes would change. So now it looks pretty good. So now our cat moves and runs and moves its legs, but it can run upside down. We wouldn't want this actually. So what should we do? We should make the rotation style. So we should make it left and right so that our cat does not rotate all around. Just left and right would be good. So for this, I need to click the flag or the script once again. And now my cat is not going to run on its head. So that's pretty nice. So now we can control our cat. But there's another problem actually, that our cat can actually run away from the stage. Maybe this is not also the best thing we can have in our project. So let's get rid of it. If on edge bounce in every script of movement. So this would be pretty fair so that we have only the stage space here so that our cat does not run away. Okay, so for now, it's enough for the cat. Now let's switch to the bat scripts. Okay, what can we do with the bat? First of all, let us of course set the size. So when the flag is clicked, it means we will start our game with a flag press. Okay, so when the flag is pressed, let us set the bat size to something like 70, maybe 60. No, let us set it to 50. Yeah, this size would be pretty good. So they're like of similar size with the cat. Maybe you can make your bat a little bit bigger, something like 60, 65, so that it would be like, it would look more dangerous, like in comparison with the cat. Okay, for bat, we would need another script because we will not control the bat. Okay, the bat will be controlled by the script. So what will the script look like? So here we're going to use two new types of blocks. Okay, so first of them is going to be repeat until. So what does this block do? So actually this block behaves the same like forever block. Okay, but there is a stopping condition for this one. Forever has no stopping condition. So this block is going to repeat anything that you put inside it forever. But this block has some condition when it stops executing the blocks from the inside. Okay, so for this, we're going to use this particular block, repeat until. Okay, so until something happens, what should we do? So we should chase the cat. Okay, so how can we chase the cat? So because our user can move the cat, and how does our bat know if we moved our cat or not? So there is a very good block that is called point in direction or point towards. I'm sorry. This block is called point towards. So you can point to any sprite or to the mouse pointer. So wherever my bat is looking now, if I press this block or activate it somehow, my bat is going to start pointing towards that sprite. So what if I put this block inside repeat until? So now wherever I move, let us check it out, my bat continues to point towards my cat. Okay, so now my bat is going to constantly chase my cat as soon as I add a couple of steps. Okay, so pointing towards Mr. Cat is not enough. I need to make my bat move too. Okay, so let me just make it move like 3 steps for now, would be pretty good. So yeah, now it's working pretty much fine. So my bat is chasing the cat, but there is something lacking. Yes, of course, my bat is also not changing costumes. And as you remember, we deleted the sleeping costume, so there are just flying costumes left on our bat. Okay, so we can just add the next costume block to our bat script so that it moves. But if you have noticed, it's moving too fast. Yeah, it's waving the wings really, really fast, and it doesn't really look like I would like to. So for this, we can actually create another script. So when the flag is clicked, so this script is going to be responsible only for animation, and this one is going to be responsible for the movement. Okay, so here we can also put this block repeat until the condition until which we're going to repeat this. We're going to discuss this in a couple of minutes. So here we can put the next costume, but we should put also the wait block here, like 0.3 seconds. I think would be enough. We can test this out. So let us, maybe it's too slow now. Okay, so let us put something like 0.1 seconds. Yeah, this looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think this would do. You can try to experiment with this value of waiting so that your bat movement looks even more realistic, okay? For me, I think it's pretty good already, so I'm not going to change this value anymore. Okay, what we can do now? Now we can set up the condition until which our bat is going to chase our cat. So what is going to be this condition? Of course, this is going to be a condition when a bat catches our cat. So all the scripts can actually stop. So how do we recognize if our bat touched the cat or not? So we can go into our new sensing category, and here there is a block that is called touching. So in the touching parameters, there is mouse pointer, and there are also all the sprites you have, but we have only Mr. Cat here so far, and also we have edge. Okay, so one of the 4 edges you can also control when your character touches any of the edges. Okay, so here in our project we need to know if our bat touches Mr. Cat. So we just duplicate this block and put it into both scripts. So these scripts are going to repeat everything inside them until our bat catches Mr. Cat. I hope this part is clear, so let's move on. Okay, so what we have now? What we have now, we have our bat chasing our cat. So this is already some gameplay we have. And now let the bat just catch our cat and see what happens. Okay, our bat stopped. What we can do when we get caught? Actually, when we get caught, we can switch to another screen that would say, for example, how many points we have scored. But so far, we do not have any point counting because as you see, all the corners and all the screen is clear from any like numbers here, and there's no labels too. There is no like label that says score or something like that. So we can easily create this one. So we can just go to the backdrops, and here we can actually just use our text instrument, okay? And we can type any text we want here. So here we can put the score label. That will be of some color. I don't even know which one would do. I think, yeah, the red one would do pretty good. The red one would do pretty much good. Okay, so we can actually just leave this text over here, or there's also another way. We can just undo all the changes and convert this to vector graphics. About this we're going to talk a little bit later. So just for now, just convert it to vector and choose the text instrument here and type in score. You can choose any color you want. For example, let it be red. Okay, so something is wrong with this red. Yes, its saturation is pretty weak. So let me just change it. So it's now like bright red. It looks very good and very noticeable on the screen. Okay, so what can we do next? What can we do next? We can go to our sensing blocks. We can go back to our sensing blocks, and here we can see a block that is called timer. How does this timer work? If I put a tick over here. So if I just press this, here we can see timer is equal to 156, 157. So every second it increases by 1. So this is pretty simple thing, but we can just change the type of this box. Let us make it large readout. Okay, so here now we can put this box over here next to the score label, and we can see not the timer label, okay, but the score. We can actually count score using this timer, because in our game, the longer we survive, the more points we get. I think the idea is clear. So for this, we can just use timers. So we do not need to create any variables, do not have to create any scripts. Okay, so for this project, the timer would do. And the main good point about the timer is that when we press the flag, the timer resets. Okay, so the timer starts from the beginning. So every time we start a new game, our timer resets and becomes 0. So every time we can get a different number of points. Okay, but one problem is that our timer does not really stop. Okay, so it can just reset. So it can collect the score and it can reset. So for this purpose, it's actually enough. But you know what we can do? We can actually make this script that helps us with the score. So what can we do? What can we do? We can do like this. So we can go to Mr. Cat scripts, and here we can actually set up such a script. First of all, we need to create a new variable here. So what is a variable? A variable, you can consider it as a box that stores some value. So for example, we need to store our points in this variable. So here we can just choose for all sprites. So now this points, let me rename it, it should be called points. So for now, these points are going to store the amount of points I have, because Scratch does not do this automatically, okay? So we can just make a large readout, and we can actually hide this timer. So we can put this variable here. Actually, a timer would also do well. So if you do not want, you can just leave it with timer, okay? So we have created a points variable, and what can we do now? So we can just do all the point counting manually. So when the flag is clicked, we should reset our variables, because every time we restart our game, we need our points to become 0. So this is pretty logical. Also, when the flag is clicked, we can just repeat until our cat touches bat. So when we get caught, so here we choose bat. So until we touch bat, we will increase our points variable. But how are we going to increase it? If we just change the points value by 1, just look how fast our score is going to increase. This is actually pretty fast. Actually, this would also do, because if you want a fast scoring in your game, this is pretty fine. But I would like a little bit slower point counting here, so that I will add wait 1 second, and I will change my points, let's say by 5. Okay, so my points will not increase so fast. Okay, now what do we have? Now we have a gameplay, a score counting, but what if I lose? So my bat catches me. Something should happen, maybe some score display I would like, or maybe some final screen. So my bat just caught me and it just stands still. It shouldn't be like that. let us go to our bet scripts. And in one of the bet scripts, what can we do? First of all, of course, we should add another backdrop where we're going to do the stuff. So for example, I will take Blue Sky 2 here, okay? And when this block is finished, so this block works until my bet touches cat, okay? So as soon as my bet touches cat, I'll just switch my backdrop to Blue Sky 2, okay? So from now, when my bat catches my cat, I'm going to switch to another screen. But if I press the flag here, my backdrop doesn't change back to that jungle. So what can I do now? Now I can actually just add one more block to any of the script with the flag, okay? So for example here, when the flag is clicked, switch backdrop to jungle. So that's all we need to switch back to our playing screen, okay? But there is another problem occurred. My bat starts moving from the point where it was. But what if I do not want that? What should I do? What should I do now? Now I should just place my bat somewhere over here and see its coordinates. It's like 191 and 142. So every time I press the flag, it means every time I reset my game, my bat should move to the 191 and 142. So again, try to practice a little more with this XY grid background so that you get a clearer idea of what coordinates are, okay? So what can we do next? What can we actually do next? As soon as we switch to this backdrop, only our score should be displayed, okay? So how can we do this? Actually, we can leave one of the characters. So for example, our cat can say your score is something, okay? So how can we do that? First of all, we need to get rid of this score counter here. So we should hide it as soon as we switch to this Blue Sky 2 backdrop. So we go back to variables, and here we should hide variable that is called points. So anytime we want, we can show or hide this or that variables, okay? But what if we hide it once? For example, let my bat catch me, and now I do not have points here. Why it happened? Because once my points are hidden, I need to make them show again. So when the flag is clicked, we should show variable points. Now it's going to work fine. So now my points appeared here, okay? What can we do? What can we do next? What can we do next is we can actually hide our bat, okay? So how can we hide our bat? Let us use this script now because there's a lot of stuff here already. Let us go to the looks, and when the flag is clicked, we can hide. But again, it is the same like with variables. Once we hide our points, we need to show them as soon as we press the flag. Now, when we hide our bat once, when we click the flag, we need to show the bat again. Otherwise, we should either do it manually or there is our bat is going to be hidden for a long time, okay? Forever, actually. Okay, now what can we do? As soon as we lose, we can show our score on the screen. So our cat can actually say it, okay? So my bat has hidden, but something went wrong. What has went wrong? My bat actually got hidden before it changed to another backdrop, so we can actually add it here. Okay, so let us make the script even bigger. So this we can call it the main script. So let us test it now. Yeah, now this works pretty fine. So what can we do next? What can we do next? We can just make our cat say how many points we've got. How can we do that? First of all, we need an event. So we go to the events category, and here we have another event, another very interesting event that can detect if we have switched to some kind of backdrop. So in our case, it's Blue Sky 2. In our case, it's Blue Sky 2. And here, what we can do, we can say your score is something. So we go to the looks category and we can say something. Say your score is, but there's a problem. How can we get our score? So how does this script know how many points we've got? So here we have in variables the small block called points. So when we press it, it gives us our score. So for now, our score is 15. So we can actually put this block in here so that our cat will say just our score. So it says 20 for 2 seconds. Let it be something like 5 seconds. But what if I want to say something else? Actually, there is no more place to write into, but there's an option. If we go to the operators category, here we have a very handy block that is called join. So here it's a pretty funny parameter choice here, so we can join apple and banana, and it will become apple banana. So it can join two things into one. In our case, it's going to be text and our score. Okay, so here we put points to the right side, and in the left side we can write your score is colon points, and all of this we can put into the say block. So see how cool it is now. So let us test our little game. Oh, we've forgotten another thing. Our cat also appears at the place where it stopped. So let us fix this fast. So for example, I want my cat to start here. So what are the coordinates here? Minus 213, minus 149. So I just go to motion and it's already set in this block. So wherever I transport my cat, these values will change. So you can just, in order to learn some coordinates, you can just try replacing your cat here and there and see what the coordinates are. So like this, you can get a clearer idea too. So by practicing, okay? So to any of the flag scripts, I can just add this go-to block. And now let us just clean this up. Let us clean up the blocks so that they stay in such one long line, but this is not really comfortable for you to see, so I'm going to clear it up a little more. Okay, so hopefully this can be seen a little better. Put them like this, like this. Okay, and the bad scripts, there are just two of them. So let us test our game once more in the full screen mode. Press the flag. My bat's chasing me. Oh no. Okay, so as soon as I hit 100, yeah, it's pretty enough. So let us lose. And here our cat says your score is 115. So this was our first little game project, and we'll meet in the next video lecture. Thank you for your attention.